What is going on, guys? Today we're going to be looking at the most meta defenders in the game, going from left back, right back to centre back, and obviously depending on your formation you can pick which ones you want. Normally we do a ranking tier list, so obviously we do all of the left back, right back, centre backs, and now we're just going to go to the final few, the ones I'm personally seeing in pretty much most concepts of game, in rivals, in foot champs, in squad battle teams if you really want to go that far, and obviously friendlies. So in terms of these, we have split them up into left back, right back, and centre back, so we could talk about them and go through each of them. And as we can see with the left backs, there is some nominations there in terms of left backs that definitely are very, very good, but then they are the meta free. Personally, for me, I see Ferland Mendy, Theo, and I can imagine once we get this card, which we'll go into, is Capdevia, is going to be absolutely incredible. So with Ferland Mendy, the past 4 or 5 years, he has been probably the number one left back from an 83 for quite some time. We very rarely ever get a special version of him as well, which is just absolutely crazy. Normally we get a foot birthday or something like that. If I go into him, we know that he is controlled to start with. Obviously with the architect can be lengthy. The main thing with obviously Ferland Mendy is that you can't put his defending up with the lengthy trait on him. Obviously this is more new gen than old gen. He still will be fantastic on old gen, but you can just go and whack an anchor or something to get more defending. It doesn't need to be obviously that lengthy meta, but the architect will put lengthy. He's already a 4-star, 5-star, 5'11", left foot. He's coming in at 27,500 coins now, and that is absolutely beautiful if you haven't found your left back already. We have obviously got flair on the trait because he is a 4-star, 5-star, which always adds a bit of value to a team personally. We've got great pace. Obviously the dribbling and passing is average at best, but it's in-game that he just naturally works really well. The lengthy with the pace is always going to be beautiful as well, and that kind of sets us off to our next player in Theo. So it was very, very lucky to get him in red this week. Obviously he is one that I was looking at. We personally was using Cancelo for quite a while, his normal gold card, and Theo is definitely the step up. Again, like Ferland, he is architect for lengthy, a 3-star this time. So if Mendy was to get an inform, I personally would probably prefer him, but again, I would go with red if I could. Left footed, 6 foot, high medium. We've not got no traits on this one. Already got the pace, which again is majorly important. We've only been able to put architect on him because we get no defending stats and no dribbling or anything like that. It is important that he's already got that pace, because we could go with a shadow with him, keep him controlled, get him the max amount of pace, or you could have somebody else who obviously is lengthy to begin with, and as long as they have got that pace already, you don't really need to worry about it. If we're going to go for a +5 on the pace, it will add a bit of difference, but as long as we've got that lengthy, that is what matters in this card at this point in the game. In terms of everything else though, we get 93 physical from him, 86 passing, which is obviously what's going up. We've got relatively okay dribbling, pretty much very similar to obviously Mendy there. A couple of things are a little bit higher due to the rating and even the defending. There is again a little jump, as you can see. Nothing too crazy, to be honest, and that's why if you haven't got a Theo inform untradeable or anything like that, I probably would still stick with Mendy. The 4-star, 5-star, the fact that he's 27k compared to Theo being 171 is absolutely crazy. And then the final one that we're going to be looking at in terms of these left backs is this new World Cup Capdevia. He looks like he should be absolutely nuts. He can be lengthy with the anchor, which is just absolutely insane. A 4-star, 3-star, if he was a 4-4, that would have been absolutely perfect, and I think he would have been an end game left back right there and then. 6 foot, high medium. He has got no other positions other than the left wing back. Left footed, left wing back, obviously. We have power, free kick on the traits, fair enough, and the stats, as we can see, are very, very top end. He's now 88 rated. His 86 is coming in at 73.5k. I can imagine this left back won't be that expensive in terms of 3, 4, 500k. I'd imagine that it'd be around the 200k mark and then maybe drops down to 100 depending on pack weight. But that's because not many people are going to be massively going for their left back. But this guy definitely is not to be slept on. I will be doing a review ASAP on him. And I think the main things that personally are what kind of separate this card is the fact that we can whack that anchor on him to make him lengthy as well. It will give him 94 pace, so equals obviously Theo Hernandez. He then gets 92 defending, 87 physical. We've already got, as you can see, a good amount of dribbling, which is pretty much the same as Theo. He's lost a little bit on his agility balance, but he gets a big +5 on the reaction. We've got a 6 increase on the ball control and an 8 on that composure. That is absolutely crazy. The only thing that he will lose the value of is obviously with Theo, he does have the architect on him, so that will again have a big problem with this card. But I think with him, he is going to be the best left back that we can get currently. Other than that, we've got a couple in Roberto Carlos and Cancelo again. Cancelo's in form and obviously 88 are very similar. There's only +1, so if you haven't already got the in form, I would suggest, if you want a Cancelo, going for the gold and being absolutely fine. A 4-star, 4-star, high, medium. We've got relatively good stats throughout, and again, he is mainly controlled, so you go and either anchor or obviously shadow for him. That's always going to be the number one. And then we have Roberto Carlos. Again, not a lengthy, he is mainly controlled, which will do work. 3-star, 2-star, which again will have some issues. He is still very, very top end with what he does, and he's very, very good at going forward as well. Pretty much like most, we'll go with the anchor or shadow, something like that to boost up everything. Long throw-ins and power free kicks, not necessarily going to be the massive traits we want. But again, another cracking left back. The only problem is he's coming in at 735,000. In terms of kind of who I personally would go with, it'd be Capdevila. Then if you haven't already got one, I'd go Mendy, then Theo, and then obviously Cancelo and Roberto Carlos really come into it in terms of old gen. So then we move on to the right backs. So we've got, again, quite a few here. We'll want Reece James here as well. He was just kind of an extra, which we'll get onto. For me, I think the best one does look in at this Carfu. He looks absolutely mad. He is the World Cup swaps token. I believe it's about 40 tokens, I want to say. 30 tokens, which to be honest isn't really that bad. You've obviously still got 20 tokens left over there, but a 4-star, 4-star, probably not going to be chosen in terms of what you can get. If I already had that sort of amount of tokens, I'd maybe looking at the pick or obviously at Vieira himself. So it's an interesting one with this one. I'd be interested to see how many people actually choose Carfu. Again, nice one to look at. I don't know if he'll be in the pool as well of icon picks if you want, because obviously then you could almost have the chance to get him, but also somebody else. Again, a nice, interesting thing there. But with him, Architect will make him lengthy again. New gen, old gen, he still will be pretty much the same every time. It would just be different with the chem style you choose. Obviously, with the Architect, we get the 91 passing. We get the 94 physicals. He's already got pace. Dribbling-wise is looking pretty nice. Defending is looking pretty nice. Again, we have got a lot of good right backs in this one. Very, very top end in terms of rating as well. Outside of the foot flare for the early crosser, which leads us on to a counterpart in the Brazilian icons is Carlos Alberto. Again, another one that can kind of be in a couple of positions now because he is a right back in the mid, but a centre back in the base version. He can actually be a centre back in this version as well, which obviously is a very different sort of chemistry, a different sort of kind of way of thinking this year with obviously all these alternative positions. I think it adds a very good dynamic to the game that we can move people from their right back position to a centre back, or even like Cancelo, left back or right back. A 3-star, 4-star, again, there is no lengthy on him, but he is going to be kind of what he is in terms of a kind of right back. What I would probably suggest is, to be fair, if you are looking at a right back in terms of lengthy meta, I think Carlos Alberto will do really well on old gen. But in terms of kind of like a meta right back from a new gen's perspective, even though he is the kind of base version of him, Carlos Alberto being a right back in the mid means that his centre back base can be a right back also, and can be lengthy with the anchor. Again, that is going to be very, very top end. 86 pace, 94 defending, 89 physical. Again, a 3-star, 4-star. We have leadership as the traits, and as you can see, he is more built around a centre back, so it'll be interesting to see the difference between him and someone like Walker, because obviously if they are built as a centre-back, there's different stats that go into it, and that's why we see a big upgrade on certain balances, on agility, maybe even on reactions. That's going to be different wide to obviously the right-back version. But again, a solid right-back that you can use him with, as well as a centre-back if you want. But again, with the centre-backs, as we'll see in a minute, there is a lot of top-end ones that you can use already. And then we move over to the last icon, which is Zambrotta. He is a very, 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 very good right-back. He is one that I think last year we got an SBC for, and he is absolutely crackers. A 4-star, 5-star, has the ability of a right wing back, left back, and a right mid. So loads and loads of positions you can go with. Architect is going to be the lengthy. He has got obviously the stats to kind of back it up really as well. 91 pace is already good, which is fantastic. We get more passing, which goes to 90. We get 93 physical on him. The defending could do with some work, but again, the lengthy is going to unfortunately outweigh that. If you are looking at old gen perspective, go with an anchor, go with something like a sentinel to get the defending physical up. The pace is already top end, and you will have a phenomenal card in him, and he's only coming in at 430. So if we look at now a couple of the cheaper options, so if we look at Walker, obviously we've just got the World Cup version at the moment. This card is brilliant because he is lengthy to begin with, meaning you can put whatever you want on him. He is lengthy already, and he will definitely be a top right back with any special versions we get from him. Because I believe if they are lengthy already, they'll be lengthy as they continue. They won't change. I think that could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure if you're lengthy on your base, then you should be lengthy all the way throughout, unless obviously the dribbling changes. I will kind of do some research into that. But in terms of the chem style you're looking at, it's always going to be that anchor, and that's where he's going to have the benefits over somebody who can only have the architect. We've got long throwing as the traits. He gets 95 pace, 85 defending, 88 physicals. The only thing he doesn't have is agility balance. Definitely could do with some work. Unfortunately, there is no pace dribbling defending stat, which is going to be the downfall of him. But in terms of being a right back, you're kind of all right with that. I think defenders can have less agility balance and be okay with it. The composure as well definitely could do with some work, and this is where the cheaper sort of option does come in. He's at 65k now, which to be fair for an 85 is still quite expensive. And finally, the cheap option in Reece James, 2.6k. He is controlled with lengthy with anchor, which is always perfect. We've got the 3-star, 510 with early crosser. With the anchor, you get 85 pace, 85 defense, and 87 physical. We've definitely got more dribbling on him, some better passing, which is always good. So I think in terms of a right back that you can get that is literally under 10k, this guy is going to be absolutely perfect. He's lengthy, which obviously adds a good base. 85 pace will definitely do you at the start, especially if you are trying to build a team around a solid back line. I think if you've not got the funds for him, he definitely can fill in until you can afford someone from the other kind of picks and really put in a little bit of a shift. And that's going to be the right backs. Personally, I think Carfu looks absolutely incredible. That card is just broken, but unfortunately, he is going to be 30 tokens, which again, I don't know how many people are actually going to choose there. I think Walker's a solid option. I would probably go Zambrotta over Carlos Alberto, just because I really do like the Zambrotta. And obviously with Reece James, he's coming in if I can't quite afford a right back of that sort of standard. And I think the right back I'm currently using, I want to say his Hakimi. I've mainly kind of looked at the lengthy kind of metas. You can get your Hakimis, you can get your, if we have a look at a few others, let's get rid of the lengthy on that. You can get your top end right backs, such as, I think Zanetti's in there. Obviously, many versions of Carfu. Lahm's more of a CDM for me. Zanetti. You then get some centre backs that can be right back. Cancelo obviously has got to be put into the hat there. Puyol being lengthy as well. A solid little option that you can go for if you wanted an icon. Wan-Bissaka, Perisic can go from cam to right back. There is a lot of different choices that you can go with. But I think for me, these are the ones I personally would say are the better options. So then, the centre backs. We've got a few here. Obviously, for me, I think Maldini and Lucio are top key here. Maldini is probably the best centre-back you can get on the game, definitely currently, and when his prime and if moments or campaign comes out, then that is going to be the best centre-back. He always is. The animations on him, just everything in terms of centre-back is perfect for him. And the fact that he is lengthy on the base is always going to be a nice help. A 2-star, 4-star, always nice. High, medium, high. We've got leadership and team player as the 2 stats. Obviously, Milan is going to be a beautiful one there. And in terms of the chemistry style, to be honest, you can go with anything. I think Shadow, Anchor will be the fan favorites. If you wanted a little bit more pace, then obviously Shadow would be the way to go. But I think getting a bit more on that physicality is going to do you more wonders than an extra 4 pace. You end up with 86 pace, 98 defending, and 87 physical. Turns him into a 94 rated centre-back, and definitely one of the best you will find in this game, hands down. And he's only coming in at 905k. We then have Lucio. So he is a new centre-back over this week. He obviously is a World Cup hero. 1.1 million in terms of price. 3-star, 4-star. Again, lengthy on the base. We can whack whatever we want on him. He's 6'2 with a medium high. We've got power free kick and power header. And again, the stats are just incredible. Everybody is obviously going to go with the Shadow or Anchor again with him. I think with his high physicality, we can kind of sack off the Anchor and just go straight with that Shadow. 91 pace, 98 defending, a 95 rated centre-back in the game, and he definitely will be a very, very good addition to your team. If you are running a 4-back, if you've got Lucio Maldini or Lucio Van Dijk, Maldini, they are going to be the top 3, in my opinion, that you will see every single game if people could choose. This card by no means is absolutely stunning. So Virgil van Dijk has been in my team for pretty much most of the game. We got him very, very early on, which is incredible. 418 he's played for me at the moment. He is the best gold card you can get, and one of the only, I think, top 4 that actually are gold and worth over 100k. He's coming in at 168, and again, with Van Dijk, it's just everything about him. I would probably recommend going for the Shadow with him. Like, we have 89 pace, 97 defending. We've already got a good amount of physical. It's mainly the stamina that's dropping the overall rating, so that's absolutely fine. He's got a little bit of passing. Dribbling wise is, again, okay. The reactions and composure what really hold that up, and just naturally a very, very top end card that will pretty much stay in your team until he gets an inform personally, and definitely one of the better, or if not the best, gold cards you can get. Another cracking option in Rudiger. So this is his one to watch version. You obviously have an 87 as well that you can go with. I believe he still gets an inform as well, or an upgrade if Germany win in the World Cup, so we could be looking at an 89 Rudiger here, which again is absolutely brilliant. I can't see Germany not winning one of their group stage matches, so imagine this card is pretty much guaranteed to be an 89, and definitely will be a pretty penny to get him done. 5 to 8 is the cost at the moment. Obviously, being a one to watch, he can go up and down. But again, a centre-back, I see gold one to watch pretty much most games. They've always got either Van Dijk, to be honest, more Lucio than a Maldini. Not seen many of him. You then have Koulibaly. You then have, who else do we have here? PK is another one. And then this guy who's new, Arejo, is going to be incredible. But with Rudiger, again, naturally, very, very top heavy. He's got Shadow that can be the chem style, 91 pace, 94 defending, and obviously having great strength and aggression, being very, very nice. The only thing that he doesn't have in comparison to say like a composure is the 90 to 80 split. That unfortunately is going to weigh him down at some point, but with the fact that he can be upgraded, that is going to go up in time if he does as well. And then that moves us on to the 4 at the back here. These are kind of just, they're still top end. Like these personally are my favorites in what I would kind of search for. But in terms of Ramos, Koulibaly, and obviously PK Arejo, all of them are lengthy on the base, so all of them can have that +8 pace. So obviously you get 88 with Ramos, you get 91 with Koulibaly, same as PK, and 89 with Arejo, with pretty much 90 plus on the defending as well. All of them coming in at a good price, between 240 for Arejo, 373 for Koulibaly, 315 for Ramos, and who was the final one? Was it PK? Where has he gone? PK is a whopping, if we can find him here, I think I've lost him. PK's coming in, again, very much like his Scream, at 237, so a very cheap price for PK as well. All of them have the stats in general. We can see that they're very, very similar in every aspect. A lot of physical and strength. A lot of them have a good defending already. Pace is there, and all of them are lengthy to begin with. I think a lot of defenders are transferable from new gen to old gen. It is just mainly the lengthy that everybody's looking for on new gen, whereas they've already got the defending, physical, and pace on the old gen. That will still do you just as good. You may be able to throw in a Militao there as well. There is some very, very top-end centre-backs that you can go with. And in terms of old gen as well, if we go into composure, and centre-backs, we then have the likes of Marquinhos, we then have the likes of Blanc, if we keep going down, there's a couple more. Where are they? Ruben Diaz, if he got an inform, he definitely would be much better. It would be better with a little bit more pace as well. Alaba's a top-end one. We then have a nice Benusi card. We could just keep going down, and there is definitely a lot of variation that we can go with centre-backs, but these are what I personally think are the best you can get. So let me know down below who you would pick. Who is in your back line? Let me know your left back, right back, centre-backs. Do you play 5 at the back? Do you play 3 at the back? Who do you use? Make sure you do like and subscribe on this, and let me know what position you'd like to see next. Would you like more of an in-depth split into just centre backs, centre mids, right wings, left wings? Would you like that, or is it better to be the defenders, midfielders, attackers again, but have more kind of maybe even defenders, midfielders, wingers, and strikers? Let me know what you think. Make sure you do like and subscribe on this though. Check out the videos on the left hand side, and I'll catch you all for the next one. Peace.